welcome to Cruising with the Songsteads YouTube channel. Like and subscribe so you can see the next videos. Trying something a little different today. I want to see if it can find its way out of this school parking lot. So it should be pretty easy. It just has to go straight down to the end and make a left. But let's just see how it acts within here, and let's see if it can actually do it. So let's do home. And then let's see what it does here. Now, it shouldn't have any problem with this. I'm not expecting it to, but it'll just be interesting to see how it acts. Yeah, it knows exactly where to go, so there's no surprise here whatsoever. Yeah. I call this car Goody Two Shoes because it follows all the traffic regulations pretty tight. So it stops at white lines at stop signs, and it never does a rolling stop. So it definitely follows the rules. Now we're going through downtown Monroe, Washington, and we'll see which way it actually takes us home. Sometimes the route that it chooses up here is really, it actually is pretty strange. Sometimes it creates more turns and zigs and zags than it really needs to, but let's see what it actually does. Looks like Officer Friendly has his party lights on up here and has someone pulled over. It'll be interesting to see how the car acts around that. I can see it reducing speed. Still reducing. Okay. Now this is the downtown Monroe area, and it can be pretty congested, lots of people everywhere, at least during the weekdays. On a Sunday, I'm not actually quite sure. Yeah, so if you can see on the planner here, it's doing this weird little zigzag up here, and gosh, I just don't know for the life of me why it's doing this. This just doesn't make any sense. It is so unnecessary. You go another 300-400 feet there and you're in the exact same place, and it seems to do this every time. I'm probably going to intervene there and keep it on track, go past that area, because it is completely needless. And actually what it'll do, since it actually is taking the highway home, it'll actually dump you in a spot where there's a suicide lane that people absolutely do not want to let you over in. Actually, I'll show it to you. So we'll let it do its thing today, and we'll see how it acts. So if I were driving, I would be in this right-hand lane right now, which you can see there's absolutely no traffic in. Not one car. And this wants to turn here to go to the same place that we would turn up the road 350 feet. But what it's done now is it's kind of dropped me into this right lane here. Let's see, I guess there's room to get over, and there it signaled and went over. So it did what it was supposed to do. That was just so unnecessary. All it had to do was go straight another 350 feet, and it had it. So now we're going down Highway 2 out of Monroe towards Salton. I really like the following distances that the car holds. You know, the pacing seems to be perfect. I know that my 2021 Explorer had the adaptive cruise control, and even at the farthest distance that you could set it for, it seemed like it was, it just didn't seem like it could react fast enough. If cars slowed down up in front of us here, it would react just, you know, half a second too late, to where the very instant you saw those brake lights on the car in front of us, just immediately FSD reacted and started to slow down. So it just seems like it's, I don't know if that's a processing problem with the, you know, the whatever the ECU, whatever it's doing all the processing on it, it just has the ability, so much more ability here to process things. Looks like someone was making a right-hand turn up here and didn't get off on the side of the shoulder to make it. Made the right turn from the actual highway. This is pretty typical for a Sunday in our area. Traffic is just generally not very good. So we'll be lucky if we actually get up to 55 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour on this trip. But it just kind of gives you an idea of how it's acting on the highways. Following distance seems spot on. If I turn on the cameras, there isn't anybody behind us at all. There is, I think, one thing that Tesla could do better, and we'll see up here. If we get enough speed up, I may be able to show on this video. But when you move from say this is a 55 mile an hour zone to a 35 mile an hour zone, the car doesn't, I don't think it slows down fast enough most of the time. I think it holds the speed too high. Now there is some algorithm or something in the FSD to where it takes into account what the cars around you are doing. So, you know, I don't know if someone's following you too close, or you know, it tries to adjust in wolf packs. You know, it wants to keep your car so you're not doing a 55 when everybody around you is doing, you know, 70. It's going to try to find some balance within the limits that you set. Like right now, I have it set for 60 miles an hour top. This is the 55 mile an hour zone. I have it set for 60. In the mornings when I'm on my way to work, I'll set it to 62. And that seems to be the pace that folks are going. But it seems when you go from the faster zones to the slower zones, it could do a better job of anticipating that and just backing off, you know, I don't know, 500-600 feet before that speed limit sign to reduce its speed. It does come in too hot. Now I'm doing 60, and now we have a Chevy pickup that's riding up behind me. But I have it set to where it can't go over 60, so that's just where it's going to stay. And when it reduces up here, when it goes from 55 to 35, we'll be making a pretty fast left turn off of Highway 2. And there is a light there, but if you're not sitting at the light when it turns green, it's just, you're making a left turn on a green light. You don't have an arrow. And so when you drop from that 55 mile an hour zone, which we're doing 60, and you dump into that 35 zone, you immediately have to get into that turn lane. It's up here in about a mile. You have to get into that turn lane and dive in there pretty quick. And this should be a pretty good test because the folks in front of us are outrunning us by quite a bit. Now it dropped 1 mile an hour there, not sure exactly why, but it did start reducing. And so if I'm coming in here and I'm driving, I'm probably already doing like 54. I'm doing 53, 50, and see, those cars are stopped up in front of us. There's the 35 speed limit ahead. Now it sees the cars. Now it's braking. Yeah, it's not gonna, a human doing that same thing is gonna start letting off that throttle and really coasting into those lower speed zones. And so I think that if FSD wants to, especially when you're talking about the unsupervised and you're talking about the unsupervised and cyber cab and stuff like that, you don't want those aggressive movements like that. You want that thing to really drive as close to human as you can. So there's a green light. People are making a left turn here across Highway 2. It is a 35 mile an hour zone coming at us, but people always drive way faster than that. So now this is kind of interesting. It's popped out into the intersection a little bit here. We'll see what this truck in front of us is going to do. Okay, so they went. So now we got cars. This is tricky because there's a little right turn lane there, and cars will dive into that. But that was, there's no drama. This can be a little dangerous right here. People popping in and out of the grocery store and the gas station. I mean, that was pretty drama-free. Pretty close to what a human would do. I think the slowing down coming into town would, that would be something that an actual driver would do. Now we got a little bit of a hill here we got to go up. I got to tell you, one time we were coming down this hill when I was probably 8 or 9 years old with a friend on our bikes. We used to go down this hill to see how fast we could go. And one of them went off on that corner right there, right into the sticker bushes. It was pretty fun. He didn't think it was pretty fun, but we all had a pretty good laugh about it after we knew he was okay. All right, so now we're on to Reiner. Again, great turn, great speed, seems to manage it. And now we're on the road with no lines again. And so there's a reflector here and there. And I mean, it is painting lines on the screen, but I'm not exactly sure where it's getting that data from, because there isn't anything on the road. There's a reflector once in a while, but and again, if I was driving right now, I'd probably be doing 35, 40 miles an hour right here. definitely wouldn't be doing 31. But the car is just being extra cautious, which is fine. And there the wipers go. It does make me wonder what it sees when it does that. Why did the wiper just turn on there? What does it think in its auto wiper algorithm that says, hey, I need to take a swipe there? Just one swipe. That's kind of weird. This is a pretty fun road, actually, if you want to, on a nice, sunny, warm day, to zip down it pretty good. You got to look out for deer. I mean, it's just trying its best to find the center of the lane. And it does a good job. It doesn't go off the road. And it really does stay in the middle of what would generally be my lane. You can see, I guess, a little seam between where they blacktopped it, where they did the chipper seal on this road. So you can see a little bit. There across that center line. But again, no cars. If there was cars coming at us, it would not have done that. It would have definitely shifted in its lane. It's given it its best effort, let's put it that way. So I think that probably wraps this drive up. The only other strange thing up here is that it usually tries to stop about 400 feet short of the driveway up the road here a little ways. So anyway, like and subscribe, and we'll wait for the next video, and thanks for watching.